Hello dear children, welcome to our language lab. Today we are going to learn an interesting and one of the important topics of the grammar, that is subject verb agreement. So students very often they do mistake with this subject verb agreement because they are not aware of the rules. If they are aware of the rules also, very often they confuse. So here let me first make it very clear about the verbs, the number, that is whether they are singular or plural. So let me write some verbs here. I write here the verbs run, sit, go, stand. So all these are the action words and verbs. So what they are, whether they are singular or plural. So these verbs are plural verbs. Right? Generally all the verbs are plural. We have to make it as singular. How can we make it as singular? By adding yes. So for this verb run, we have to say runs. And here it is sits. And then here it is, we have to add es, goes. And here stands. So you may confuse here. I am telling you adding s, it will be a singular. Yes, it will be a singular. It is exactly opposite in case of nouns. See, in case of nouns, if at all I write here cat and it is cats. If I add s, it will be singular. Now it is singular and it is singular and this is plural. Look here. So cat singular and cats it is plural. In case of nouns, it is opposite. In case of verbs, if you add s, it will be singular. So once you understand which is the singular verb and which is the plural verb, so working with the subject verb agreement will be very easy. Now let us move to the rules of this subject verb agreement. What are the rules? So the first rule, let me explain you in a clear way. That is, the first rule is, if at all you are using a singular noun, then you have to use a singular verb itself. I will give you an example for this. See the example. My child likes ice cream. My child is singular and here I have used singular verb also. Then in the same rule, in the first rule, if at all you are using the plural noun and you have to use a plural verb itself. You are not supposed to use singular noun, plural verb, and plural noun or singular verb. So this is the rule. Singular verb, noun you are using singular verb and plural noun, plural verb. Here is an example for this also. All children like sweets. See, like here, this is plural verb and this is singular verb. Children, it is a plural. So I have used here plural verb itself. This is the first rule you need to remember. Now we go to the second rule. So what is this second rule? The second rule, whenever we use two nouns or pronouns and that two nouns or pronouns combined with and, the conjunction and. So what we need to use? We have to use a plural verb itself. Plural verb itself we have to use. So I'll tell you the example I will show you here. Sam and Siri are friends. Look here, this is plural verb, helping verb. In helping verbs also we have singular and plural. Is, was, singular verbs. Are, were, plural verbs. So Sam and Siri, here these two nouns are connected with and, the conjunction. So here we are using the plural verb. But sometimes, remember, sometimes, so it is an important thing, very often we forget. So whenever the two nouns or pronouns are combined by using and, we have to use the plural verb, that is the common rule. But sometimes both the nouns are giving or suggesting the common idea to the mind, or suggesting the person, same person, or suggesting about the same thing, the verb will be singular. I will tell you. Here you see the poet and novelist is dead. The poet and novelist is dead. Look here, I have used the singular verb, and here is and, the conjunction. See, here I said whenever you use and, you have to use plural verb. But here it is, because this is about the same person. How do we know that the poet and the novelist both are of the same? Yes, whenever it is not mentioned with the definite article. Suppose if it is the poet and the novelist, two people. If at all there is a no definite article, then we have to consider it as one itself. One more example I'll give you here. Time and tide waits for none. Waits, singular verb. Two words, two nouns are there. Time and tide. I told you whenever the two nouns are suggesting the same idea to the mind, and whenever they are suggesting about the same person, whenever they are suggesting about the same thing, then we have to use the singular. This note you need to remember whenever you have and with the two connected with the two nouns or pronouns. This is second rule. Now let us go to the third rule. The third rule is about another conjunction, that is or. So many a times we use the connector, that is or also. So or, nor. These two. Whenever we use these two, which verb we have to use? We have to take singular verb itself. So singular verb itself. I'll give here an example. Siri or Sam attends the party. Look here, attends. Here it is singular because we are using here or. And in this only the fourth rule also I include. Sometimes what happens, one singular, here both are singular, no problem. Here you can use singular verb itself. Sometimes one is singular and the other one is plural. I will give another example for that also. See, whenever we use or, nor, one noun is singular and the other noun is plural, how can we use the verb? So what form of the verb do we use? Here, Siri and her friends attend the party. Sorry, here I have written and, it is or. Siri or her friends attend the party. Here I have used attends here because here it is singular, and here why I have used Siri singular and friends it is plural. So whenever this kind of situation, the verb agrees with the closest subject or nearest subject. For the verb, two subjects are there, Siri, friends. So two nouns are there. So attend, here this is the verb. So this verb agrees with the closest or nearest noun itself. So this is about fourth rule. Third rule is whenever you use or, nor, you have to use singular verb itself. But whenever there are one singular and one plural, the verb agrees with the closest or nearest noun. If it is singular, here it is singular. If it is plural, here it is plural. Hope you understand the third and fourth rule. And we'll go to the fifth rule. The fifth rule here, it speaks about the collective nouns. So hope you all are aware of the collective nouns. So the nouns which we used to speak about a group, right? So whenever you use the collective nouns, what verb do you use? For these collective nouns, we have to always use, we consider it as singular, and we have to use a singular verb itself. So how it is? What are the collective nouns? We have different collective nouns. The collective nouns like team, class, family, school, herd, crowd. All these are collective nouns. Committee, all these collective nouns. Now I say here the team is playing today. Here I have used the singular, whereas team is the collective noun. One more example I will give you here. The committee decides the matter. See, look here. Again, I have used the singular verb. Committee, collective noun. Team, collective noun. I have used here the singular verbs. This is the rule. Whenever you are using the collective nouns, you have to use the singular verbs itself. And next, the sixth rule. The sixth rule speaks that whenever we use the words, so that we call them as indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns like, everybody, anybody, nobody, somebody, each one, each, no one, none. All these are the pronouns, indefinite pronouns they are. Whenever we use these, always we use singular. We have to consider them as singular itself, and we have to use the singular verb itself. See, everybody enjoys the party. Look here, everybody enjoys the party. Anybody, somebody, nobody, someone, each one, anyone, all these we have to consider them as singular, and we have to use always the singular verb itself. Next, we go to the seventh rule. So the seventh rule speaks about certain words. Whenever we see those words, we feel that they are looking like the plural. Yes, see, that is, you have maths, physics, civics, economics. So different words, because we feel sometimes many students very often confuse. These are the plural, they are the singular. Here you have to use the singular verb itself. With these nouns, you have to use the singular verb. And then the eighth rule. In the eighth rule, I tell you some other words like, scissors, shears, trousers. So these all the words we consider as plural. You have to use the plural verb itself. Whereas these words we consider, though it ends with S, we consider them as singular itself. Whereas here we have to consider them as, scissors, shears, trousers, all these are the plural. We have to consider them as plural itself. And so one more, the ninth. So ninth rule here, try to understand whenever we have the phrase in between the verb and the subject. I will give you an example. The leader along with his people comes now. Comes now. See here. Comes is the singular. See here, this complete everything we call as a phrase. The subject here is the leader. The leader along with his people comes now. Why we have to use here people? Why can't we use it as plural? But do not be misled by the phrase. by the noun within the phrase, but look at only the subject. The subject here is singular, and so you have to use the singular verb itself. This is the ninth rule. And here I can give you some more examples. The leader along with his people comes now. The book with all the chapters is boring. The book with all the chapters or the book with all the sections is boring. So here we can use the singular there. We do not consider the noun which is in the phrase. So which comes in between the verb and the noun. The phrase we shouldn't consider. The nouns within that phrase, only we have to consider the subject. If the subject is singular, here singular. If the subject is plural, here plural. Do not consider with this phrase which comes between. And the last rule, that is the 10th rule here. Many times here also we often confuse, because whenever we talk about certain terms, the specific quantity whenever we mention, we consider it as singular itself. So I'll give you example for this, the 10th rule, the specific quantity. I can give you here 10 kilometers. 10 kilometers is a long walk. Kilometers. Look here, this is plural. So thinking this is plural, the noun, here we have to use the plural verb. No, it's not right. So 10 kilometers is a long walk, because the specific quantity is mentioned. Whenever the specific quantity is mentioned, like 10, a specific quantity, it is considered as a singular, and we have to use singular verb itself. Similarly, if I write one more example, 10,000 rupees. 10,000 rupees is a good amount. Again, I have used here singular. Rupees, plural. Yes, but here 10,000 as a specific quantity, when it is mentioned, we have to use the singular verb itself. So these are the 10 rules for the subject verb agreement. If you keep in your mind these 10 rules, so definitely you will not make any mistake while doing the exercises related to subject verb agreement. Hope this session is very clear for all of you. I will come back with another interesting and important topic of the grammar in my next class. Thank you.